I got this picture. It's very, it's not intuitive. You can take this picture. Just if you ever go to Lhasa, you're going to see it from the front side. That's where everybody saw it. That's where 3 or 4 of my pictures, the first picture, were taken from. But I needed a picture that said, what was it like when the first travelers came here, Joseph Rock, before then? What was it like when a traveler 1,000 years ago came? Well, it probably wasn't 1,000 years old, but what was it like when they first saw this place? And so I needed a picture that had that feel. So I drove away from the Potala Palace, went up the mountain, way up on the other side, used a long lens. This is what I saw. This became my vision of paradise, and this is on the cover of the other editions of the book and was the main picture in our story on Chama Gudao. But I'm very fortunate, first of all, working for the Geographic, which I've been doing now for 33 years, and even though now in a much diminished state in terms of time in the field and resources, they still go out to do definitive stories. And my area of interest and expertise is Asia, so I don't really travel the world so much as I've done Asian explorers that have taken me to Middle East and other places, in Africa, but mainly my interest is in Asia, and I like the food there. So I always say, if they're not serving rice, don't send me. And you stay where you need to. So sometimes I'm staying in the tent, which is a hard job in itself because you know, there's 10 people in there. The more the merrier because you're warmer, but it, you know, there, first of all, there's that smoke, and second of all, there's snoring, a lot of snoring going on. And then you got the dogs outside the tent, these huge mastiffs whose job is to protect, and they smell the foreigner, so they're barking all night. And so I do like 5-star hotels also when I get to the city. But yeah, it's not a job, it's a calling, it's a lifestyle. And you do it for the pictures. So I'm willing to put myself out there, no matter, you know, to get the photograph. So that's my joy. Is the end of the day knowing that I got a good frame.
I was wondering if you could tell us anything more about the worms. When did they start collecting them?
I can tell you a
what
lot.
areas are they doing it? What time of year? I'm really very interested in that.
Okay, well, at first, the worms came to light during, first during SARS. Remember SARS? And that, you know, freaked out a lot of people, and people started paying money for Yatsagombu, figuring that it would have some effect that they wouldn't get SARS because it affects their immune system. And then it got another big bounce during the Olympics, because the Chinese Olympians are, wow, amazing, you know, they just trounce everybody. And so everybody was going like, well, what is it? How did you get to these great athletes? And then, you know, somebody said, well, partly it's because of the Yatsagombu, and then again it had a huge price rise. And now, because of scarcity also, it's about $50 in Chinatown. I'll bet you go to Chinatown, New York City, ask for it, they call it Chongqiao in Chinese, and you'll find it here. And I'll be interested to see how much it costs. But you got to believe in it, and a lot of people do. There's no scientific proof.
Are the worms found all over, or just in certain areas?
No, and only at over 3,000 to 4,000 meters, 12,000 feet.
Doesn't matter east or west or?
Well, it's up on the plateau, Tibetan plateau. You can find it in Nepal and Bhutan and a couple of other places. But yeah, way up there where it's hard to reach.
You mean the Chongchang? Is that what you mean when you say the plateau? Or?
Tibetan plateau, all what I showed you is the Tibetan plateau. Tibet is one big plateau.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's all 10,000 feet and up. And it grows, and the more remote, the better, because it's been less picked over. And So, yeah.